Why do you think people go for those 7-year loans? Is it because it drops the payment? They aren't really paying attention to the interest they're paying. They're just looking at the payment?
That's exactly right. I mean, if you bought a car today, and some of these companies, out of state companies, are charging 22, 24% interest, and they'll finance it for 7 years. So you're locked in for 7 years at 22% interest or 24% interest. You'll actually pay more interest than you paid for the car, and that's where they're making their money, is in that high interest rate. And
Right,
and once you sign that contract, you're locked in.
right.
It
And
is a cheaper payment, but you've got to look at the long term. How much am I paying for this car over time? The total price I'm paying over time.
right, yeah, it's a cheaper payment for the first 3 years, but with your financing, they'd be done paying at that point. Whereas with a 7-year, they still got four to go.
They still got 4 more years to go. Correct.
Yeah. In those situations too, are they going to have difficulty building up equity, so their car is essentially upside down for a long time?
If you bought a car with 40,000 miles on it, and you finance it for 70 years, the typical consumer drives 20,000 miles a year. So 7 years at 20,000 miles, that's 140,000 miles, plus the 40,000 miles it had on it to start out with. That'd be 180,000 miles the car's going to have on it in 7 years. You're just not, the car's not going to be worth anything. Uh, if it is still running, it won't be worth anything in 7 years. So I think that's the term of the loan is very important, and very few people pay any attention to the term of the loan. All they want to know is how much is their payment.
Right. Now, if they don't have any equity in the vehicle, in other words, it's worth less than what they owe because of those types
Mhm.
of loans, and they get into an accident and their car is totaled, what happens with the insurance company?
The insurance companies will pay off the actual cash value, wholesale cash value of what the car is worth. So if you owed 10,000 and the car's worth 5,000, they'll pay off 5,000, and you'll still owe 5,000. And the finance company still holds you responsible for that difference there. So you would still owe the finance company 5,000, and and you think, well, I'll just walk away from it. Well, that's not the way it works. These finance companies take you to court and get judgment against you, and they get 25% of your net check. So you're going to pay them one way or the other. Um, so you need to build equity as fast as you can in a car, or in anything. If it's a home or anything, a lot of times, um, the payment's not much more if you financed it 36 months versus 48 months. But if you looked at the interest amount that you pay different, there's a huge amount of interest, cheaper interest by going for a shorter amount of time. Just like in buying a home, most of the times there's not much payment difference between a 20-year and a 30-year note on a
Right.
home loan. You
Hmm.
know, so and it makes a lot of sense to shorten that term down.